Hi everyone, I'm Gina K from Gina K Designs and your host of Stamp TV, and I'd like to welcome you to our release party presentation. Tonight, you'll get to see 10 new clear stamp sets and a brand new incentive set. At any time, feel free to click on the links below the screen to play along with our contest questions, our challenge, and to see all of the stamp sets in full along with the beautiful samples created by our design team especially for you. If you're the partying type, we have a party chat thread going strong where you can hang out with the design team from now until 8 p.m. Central Time. And the best news is, all of the stamp sets are already available in our store at ginakdesigns.com, so you don't have to wait to place your order. So sit back, relax, and enjoy tonight's release party presentation. I'm so excited to show you the new stamp sets that we've released tonight. We have 7 brand new clear stamp sets and a brand new incentive set that's yours free with any purchase of $75 or more. So many of you have asked when the next Stately Flowers set would be out. This month, Melanie Menchinger has designed it, and Stately Flowers 10 is now available. This one includes an adorable seed packet for any of your Stately Flowers favorites. Change the flowers inside the packet, and you can also make shaker cards with real seeds. This set also contains greetings to add to the label. I think this might be my favorite Stately Flowers set yet. Meet Bella. Bella Elephant is the newest stamp set by Beth Saleka. Included in this set are lots of jumbo-themed greetings like giant hugs and thanks a ton. There are 2 elephants in this set and even a tiny mouse, along with other elements and greetings to create whimsical cards for all occasions. Teresa Momber has designed a beautiful new set called French Flair. Look at that. This set is filled with beautiful images and greetings that will help you make elegant cards for any occasion. Some of these hand-drawn elements can be colored with watercolor, Copics, and colored pencils, and others make beautiful backgrounds and silhouettes for all kinds of projects, including cards, scrapbook pages, and mixed media. Claire Brennan has created the perfect set for any celebration. Sweet Thing is filled with all kinds of cupcake options. Build your own exactly the way you want. Add a little fairy on the side for making the perfect wish. Or celebrate a new baby with a cuddly teddy bear on top. Filled with tons of greeting options, this set will help you celebrate all kinds of occasions. Our next sneak peek features another set by Claire. She's created a beautiful, sunshiny stamp set that will make you feel warm all over. My Island is the perfect set for sending a little sunshine to anyone on your card-making list. With rough, grungy backgrounds and greetings and beautiful silhouette images, you can create fabulous cards and scrapbooking elements for tons of late summer projects. Don't you love a little scoop of ice cream? Claire has created a whole lot of cool treats in her So Cool stamp set. Filled with ice cream and popsicle treats along with super cool sayings, this set is perfect for cards of all occasions. Who doesn't love a cute little sweet shop? Claire Brennan designed another beautiful set called Petite Patisserie, full of all kinds of sweet elements and greetings for all types of fun cards and projects. Whether you create a cute little bakery, ice cream shop, or coffee and donut house, this set will bring joy to all of the sweet family and friends on your card-making list. This month, when you spend $75 in a single order, you'll receive the All About You stamp set, Look how nice these greetings are. These are a nice size for your cards. This set is filled with adorable greetings that are perfect for so many people on your card making list. And there's no need to put it in your cart. It will automatically ship with your qualifying order. So now that you've seen some of these sets, I want to show you a couple of card projects using two of the new sets tonight. I decided to feature two of Claire's sets tonight, and I'll be featuring all of our design team and illustrators' sets throughout the rest of the next few weeks, so that you'll get to see card projects here on Stamp TV using all of these sets. I'm going to start off with the So Cool set, and this is the set with the ice cream cone and all the sweet treats. So I'm going to begin by stamping this ice cream cone. And this is a really big stamp. But I found that if you have this 3x3 square block, if you put it on an angle, it fits just fine. So I'm going to stamp this using a little bit of Memento ink. Ink that up real well for you. And stamp that right here in the center. Okay. Then while I have my ink pad out, I've got another little piece here, this little strip and this little black strip. I'm going to choose the greeting that says, "You're the coolest." No, I think I'll use the "What's the scoop?" That makes a little more sense, huh? So I'll use "What's the scoop?" Stick that on this block here. And I'm going to ink this up also on with some Memento, and I'm going to stamp this right along the edge. So I can cut this off and save the rest of this for another project later on. Now I'm going to color this ice cream cone, but first I'm going to cut it out using my Cherry Designs crossover machine. Now they don't make this machine anymore, but they make a brand new one, and I just got it and I love it. So I'm going to start featuring it in some of my up and coming videos. It's called the Little Sister. It's the same dial technology, so as you can see here, there's a dial that can make it tighter or looser, so you don't need shims anymore, but it's much smaller. It's about the same size as the Cuttlebug, so I'm really enjoying that machine. But I love the technology of that dial. Ever since I got it, I haven't had to shim anything, and that is so nice. Okay, so I'm going to cut this one out. Actually, let me see if I have room to do both. I might. I'm going to cut a scalloped oval out too. So that is kind of nice about this big machine, is that you can cut more than one out at a time. Okay. So we have a little scalloped oval and a plain oval with the ice cream cone. So let me get this machine out of the way here. I'm going to bring it back in a little bit, but right now I'm going to put it down on the side. Okay, so now I'm going to color this ice cream cone with some Spectrum Noir markers. And the colors that I'm choosing are the IB3 and the LG5. So I guess my ice cream cone is going to be Blue Moon and Mint. So I'm going to start with the blue. And this is a very bright blue. But I'm going to add a little bit of our frozen glitter on top. And when you see what the frozen glitter does, it just mutes the color ever so slightly and makes it look like the perfect blue moon color. It's one of the things I love about the frozen glitter. You can use it with any color marker or ink pad, and you don't lose the color underneath. It just makes it a little bit softer, but you still have that glittery color shining through underneath. And that's great, because if you don't have a lot of different colors of glitter, but you want to glitter a lot of things different colors, it works really well to kind of look like it's all different color glitter. So now I'm going to use the LG5 for this part. And this doesn't look at all like mint, but when I get that frozen glitter on top, it's going to create a much softer green. This is such a fun set to color. For those of you that love watercoloring, you love to use your Copic markers or your aqua markers or colored pencils, this is so much fun. Nice big spaces so you can do lots of shading if that's how you like to color. Now, of course, if you're going to do something like I'm doing and you're going to add lots of glitter, then you really don't need to do the shading, because there's going to be a lot of stuff to draw your eye when it comes to the glitter. Okay. So there we go. There's some green in there. I like that color green. Then I'm going to put a cherry on the top in CR9. It's a nice clear red. And then the whole cone is going to get colored in this tan. This is TN5. And I love the Spectrum Noir markers. For those of you looking for a very economical alcohol marker, Spectrum Noir is the way to go. The ink itself really blends nicely, and it's a pretty comfortable marker to hold because of the hexagon shape. I think that's a hexagon, yeah. But the only thing is that the cap colors are a little bit off, so don't go by the cap color to decide if that's the color of the marker inside. Make sure you color a little bit of it first, because some of them look a lot, the caps look a lot brighter or darker than the actual color. Now I'm also going to use this blender pen. This is the Spectrum Noir blender pen, and I'm just going to pull some color off of inside those little diamonds of the ice cream cone, just to change up the color between the lines and the diamonds. And you can use any blender pen with alcohol markers. I've mixed the Copic blending pen with the Spectrum Noir. I've also used the Spectrum Noir and Copic blenders with Bic markers and Sharpie markers, so if you have a different blending pen, you can certainly use it. This blender pen comes in one of the bigger sets of Spectrum Noir markers. It also comes in, I believe it comes in their Essentials set. It's a nice blender. That little fine tip makes it very fun to work with. Okay, so now I want to add a little bit of glitter to this. So I have a piece of scrap copy paper here, and I'm going to use a Zig two-way glue pen. You can use a quickie glue pen for this. You can use any kind of glue pen. I'm going to add a little bit inside the cherry, and then grab that prismatic glitter, frozen. And that gives me some sparkle there. I like to do one color at a time. You can do the whole thing at one time, but I kind of like to do one color at a time. It helps me see where the lines are and not go over the lines too much. So now you can see what that did. That just softened that whole look of that blue. Isn't that pretty? And now I'll do the green. And this is definitely going to look more like mint. These glue pens are great to work with. The quickie glue is really great too, especially for getting in those small areas. But I was searching around for my quickie glue pen, and I think we put it away in the wrong spot after my class last night, so I'm using this one. So there is that sparkly ice cream cone. Isn't that fun? All right. And now I'm just going to put the glitter away. There we go. Okay. So for the rest of my card, I have a piece of, I'm going to let that dry up in the corner here. I have a piece of white cardstock here, and I am going to wood grain it with a little bit of craft ink. And I'm just going to run that craft ink down my paper and create the look of some planks of wood. And I don't want it to be real dark. Just want to make it look light. Something about ice cream cones always make me think of the boardwalk in Wildwood, New Jersey, where I grew up every summer. And so I always think that, I don't know, the wood planks just remind me of that. So I have the tiny little ice cream cone here from Claire's new So Cool stamp set and some blue raspberry ink. And I'm going to randomly stamp this cone all over this background paper. It's so cute to be able to make your own background papers to match your stamp set or to match your focal image. So it's nice to have these cute little stamps in here. And don't worry about that. I'm going to put a greeting over there, so I'm not too worried about what that's going to do. Okay, for my next stamp, I'm going to add this popsicle. Put that on there. And that's going to be stamped with some red hot ink. Kind of matching the colors in the ice cream cone that I did with the glitter. I like to turn my stamp as I go. It makes it look a little more random. I also like to stamp off the paper, you know, just a little bit coming in from the side, and that makes it look a little bit more like real pattern paper, because it does kind of come in from all over the place. Okay. So there is that. Now, I feel like it needs one more thing. So I want to use some apple mint ink. Now, the apple mint ink and the green ink pad didn't match earlier, but they're a lot closer now that that glitter's on there. So apple mint's going to be my ink color of choice. And what I'm going to do is, rather than use another ice cream, I just want to make it kind of have an element in there. So I found a mechanical pencil. You can use any kind of pencil that has a rubber eraser on the top. And I'm just going to add some dots in the apple mint. Isn't that fun? You can do so many fun things with stuff that's in your craft room right now that you wouldn't even think to use. There, and one more here, and that just makes it even more fun, just a more fun pattern, something a little different. Okay, so this panel is going to get adhered to this black piece. Move that paper out of the way, and I've got my adhesive here. That together. Okay. And I'm going to add a little bit of the black plaid ribbon, which is now back in stock in our online store. So I'll put that right about there. I like the wide ribbon. It's fun for these kinds of cards. Okay, and then this whole panel is going to go on a blue raspberry card base. So we'll get that on there. Okay, now I'm going to adhere this oval to the scalloped oval using some adhesive. Ovals are a little trickier to put together. You kind of have to shimmy them around until they look right. so you don't have too much scallop hanging off of one end and not off the other. Okay, so I'm going to position that right there with some pop dots, some foam squares. But before I do that, I want to get my greeting together. So I'm just going to trim this a little bit just to get this piece off. Okay, so now I'm going to make a little tail here just by cutting in like that and doing the same thing on the other side. If you don't get it all the way down there the first time, just give it another trim. So it's kind of like a little flag. That just kind of makes me feel like summer. And I'm going to butt this end right up to the end of the black piece, so there won't be any little border around the end there. It'll just be borders on the sides. So let's see how that looks. Kind of need something white against this to see it real well. Oh, the eyes are going. Okay, so there we go. And then I'm going to trim a little border in here like that. And then that's just going to go right up against the edge there. So I'll tape that on now. And I wanted to get that on there first before I position my oval. So we'll put that down here pretty close to the bottom. Just leave a little bit of that pattern paper we created sticking out so that border's a little more obvious. There we go. And now this piece is going to go on with 4 pop dots. And we'll position that right about here off to the side a bit. One more time. Okay, there we go. Looks pretty good. Okay. And then I'm going to add just a little knot on the side using my ribbon. So I'll just slip that under there. And I'll tie a little knot. I could have cut that a little longer. But at least there won't be much waste, right? Okay. And give that a nice snug tug. And trim. And we'll trim the other side. Like that. Trim this one just a little shorter too. And there is, and you can fiddle with that and get it positioned exactly the way you like. But there's a fun little card. And look at all that shimmer and shine. That's just a fun little card to send to somebody, just checking in, what's up, haven't talked to you for a while, and I'm thinking about you. Now, of course, if you're giving this to a kid for their birthday, maybe you have a child on your list and you want to do a fun, sparkly ice cream card, you can always change this greeting down here to happy birthday or some other greeting that makes sense for celebrating a birthday or other milestone. So I'm going to put this card aside. That is one finished card. Now I have another card I want to do for you, and I want to feature another one of Claire's sets. Clean up a little bit here, got stuff everywhere. I want to feature this stamp set, My Island. I love this stamp set. There are just so many fun things that you can do with it, and even though it has a summery feel, you can certainly use it year-round, especially these elements like this border and this sunburst, and then just this grungy background to just lay a blotch of color down behind a focal image. So I wanted to use this particular piece here, this sunburst, and I wanted to play off of a technique that I did in my last video for you. So let me get this set ready here, get this piece onto my block. All right. Now the colors that I'm going to use for this panel are sweet corn, and then I'm also going to add some interest to that background with a Tombow marker. And this is an orangey color, kind of a burnt orange, well maybe not a burnt orange, but definitely leaning more toward a yellow orange, and it's Tombow marker number 946. I think it's actually one of the markers that I've used in some of the thumping techniques I've done in the past. Really like that color. Okay, so I've put sweet corn all over this panel, and now I'm going to use the marker and I'm going to thump all over the surface, and I'm going to continue to turn this stamp as I go because I really don't want any particular pattern in this, but I just want the thump lines to go in all different directions. So if the marker's staying the same and you're turning the block, you'll definitely get a lot of variation in how that color is being laid down on the stamp. Okay. Get a little more on there. All right, and then I'm going to put that onto this little piece of black cardstock. I am going to huff over it first, just to reactivate that sweet corn ink, and stamp. Sorry if my head got in the way. Give that block a second to transfer color. And, whew, isn't that pretty? Love that. And I love the grunginess. So when you get your stamp, if you see like broken lines in there, that's not a defect. That's the grunginess in this stamp that makes it so amazing. All right. So now I'm going to add these little palm trees, and I'm going to use some of the Gina K Designs Black Onyx ink. Our ink is a nice solid black ink, so if you haven't tried it yet, I really like it for solid images. And I'm going to stamp that right down here. There we go. That's nice, huh? Nice and dark. Okay, so now I'm going to add a greeting, and I have another white piece of paper. Okay, I found some cardstock. So here's a piece of our layering weight cardstock, and the greeting that I'm going to use is, I love this greeting because it's just a little bit different. It's "You bring me sunshine." So it's not "you are my sunshine," but "you bring me sunshine." I think that's really pretty. So I'm going to ink that up again with the black onyx ink and stamp that right in the middle of this piece of cardstock. All right. So now my next step is going to be to create a background using another piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to grab my Score Buddy. I want to do some texture, but I really don't want to use an embossing folder, so I'm just going to create these lines, and you've seen me do this before. I'm going to put one corner at the 3-inch mark, and then I've marked 3 inches down at the bottom with a Sharpie, so you might be able to see a little black line there, and that's going to be the opposite corner. And I'm just going to create kind of a lattice background just by scoring on the 1/4 inch lines going all the way down. I jumped over to the next line there. Then I'm going to flip that around and finish it going the other way. And that by itself makes a pretty cool background. Kind of like that for Christmas cards, because it's kind of like a stripe pattern. But for this one, I'm going to also do the opposite corners so I can create that diamond shape. All the way down. And this is fun. If you don't happen to have an embossing folder that's right, you want something that's really simple and elegant, not too busy. This really makes a nice background. And I tend to do it a lot on those 1/4 inch marks because I'm making cards, so I want a smaller diamond. But it also looks really great on the 1/2 inch marks. You just get really big diamonds and they look really nice too. So that is my background. And that piece is going to go onto this piece of black onyx. Grab my adhesive here. And line that up. There we go. And then that whole panel is going to go onto my white card base. Now I'm going to do a little fancy cutting using the crossover and a couple of fun dies. Let's get this panel on first before I get ahead of myself. Okay, so there's that panel. I can also put these two pieces together. I might as well. I have a little piece of black onyx cut as a border for this sunburst panel. Ooh, I still love that color combination, that sweet corn and that orange marker. And if you can use any orange marker, you can use zig markers for that, any water-based markers. So you might even have some old Stampin' Up! Markers laying around, or Spectrum Aqua, any of those will work. And that's going to go right there on my card. So let me put this aside for a second, and let me bring up the Cheerylyn Designs crossover machine again. This is a huge machine. All right. And you can see by the look of my plate, it's well loved, huh? Okay. So for this one, I'm going to cut this white piece out using this oval die. And then I'm also going to need to get a piece of black cardstock. Now I have a piece of black cardstock here, and I'm going to cut out a bigger oval, and then I'm going to use one of the lace corners dies. So I'll start right down here at the very bottom of this piece of cardstock, and this piece of black cardstock is going to last me a long time of die cutting. Okay. Pull that out. So now I have this cute little lace corner. And I'm going to cut one more. Let me get the oval out of the way. Blade side down. And then the more times you run this back and forth, the easier it will be to have it drop right out of the die. And again, with the Cheerylyn machine and the little sister machine, you can just dial it a little bit tighter if it's still difficult to get out, but I don't think it will be. Sometimes you can drop them out like that. So there is my second lacy corner. All right, let me get this machine off the table and make some room, and then I'll assemble this card for you. Okay, so my next step is going to be to adhere these two ovals together using some of my adhesive. All right, there we go. And now I want to create a little element going around the edge. So there's a couple ways you can do that. I think what I'm going to do is just slip these two like that, and right up to the edge, like that. And the best way to adhere that, of course you can use stick-it adhesive and adhere the whole thing, but if you want it to look a little bit loose and a little bit three-dimensional, you can just put a little bit of tape on the back of each side of the oval, and then kind of finesse it into place where you want it. And once you've got it exactly where you want it, sometimes it's easier to hold it this way to make sure that these loops are even, and then just press it down in the back, and that will hold it in place. And then the same thing on the other side. So I like to make sure those loops are even, and that they look even with the opposite side too. You don't want them sticking out too far. Looks pretty good. There we go. And then this is going to go right there on my card, and this is going to overlap it just a little bit. And rather than watching me tape that together, I'll show you on my finished card project here. I actually secured these down using two little black brads. So that is the way I adhered those together. I'm sure you know how to tape those two panels on without watching me do that part. So these are my two finished card projects, featuring two of the brand new stamp sets released tonight at GinaKDesigns.com. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's release party presentation. All of the new stamp sets are now available in our online store at GinaKDesigns.com. And stay tuned to Stamp TV because I will be showcasing more of these new sets over the next few weeks in my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and see you back here soon on Stamp TV.